As we were discussing about the pollination, I have already told you the definition of agents of pollination. Again, I am repeating for you. The natural pollination is brought about by wind, water, and insects or animal. These are called as agents of pollination. Now let us discuss about the what agents are comes in this topic, agents of pollination. First is pollination by insects. Insects like butterflies, bees, and ants visit flower to collect nectar. Why they do visit flower? To collect the nectar. And when an insect sits on a flower, pollen grains stick on its body. Pollen grains sticks on its body, and then these pollen grains may fall either on stigma of the same flower or another flower when the same insects sits on them. Okay, till now you have understood? Then this type of pollination is called as insect pollination. Again, I am repeating for you what happens when insects like butterflies, bees, ants, these type of insects visit flower to collect their nectar, and when the insect sits on a flower, pollen grains sticks on its body. Pollens may fall either on the stigma of the same flower or another flower when the insect sits on them. This type of pollination is called as insect pollination. And which are the flower comes in this category? Rose, marigold, and poppy, etc. What are the characteristics do these flowers have? Let us now understand. They are large and brightly colored. They are large and they have bright colors. Okay? And they have sweet nectar and they are scented. They are scented. Their pollens are usually rough and sticky. Their pollens are usually rough and sticky, and that's why they stick to the body of the insect. Again, let me discuss this to you. The characteristics of the flower. First of all, the flowers are large, they are big, and they are brightly colored. They have bright colors, and then they have sweet nectar and they are scented. Their pollen grains are usually rough. That is why and also they are sticky. So that is why they stick on the body of the insect. As of now, we have started discussion about the agents of pollination. First topic we have covered the agents of pollination, the pollination by insects. Okay. Now second point is pollination by wind. Flowers of plants like coconut, rice, maize, and grass are pollinated by wind, and it is the pollination by wind is the most common method of pollination. Okay, these flowers means coconut, rice, maize, and grass flowers have the following characteristics. What are the characteristics they do have? First of all, they are dull, means they are not bright, and they are small in size and are usually unisexual, means either they have stamen or carpel as a male reproductive or female reproductive organ, or that is why they are called unisexual, means they have only one reproductive organ, male reproductive or female reproductive. Then their pollen grains are light in weight and they are smooth and dry. Third point is their pollens are produced in large quantities. Fourth is their stigma is very large and well exposed to receive pollen grains. That is why they can receive more and more pollen grains. Their anther are long and protrude. Now what is the meaning of protrude? Protrude means growth. Okay, enlarged outside the flower, and that pollen may get blow away easily. So that pollen may get away easily. Again, I am repeating the characteristics of the flowers which are pollinated by wind. First of all, the flowers are dull, means they are not bright and small, and usually unisexual. Okay. and then their pollen grains are light in weight, smooth and dry. Then their pollens are produced in large quantities. After that, their stigma is very large and well exposed to receive pollen grains. Last point is their anther are long and protrude, means enlarged outside the flower, that pollen, so that the pollen may get blown away easily. Now let us discuss the third agent of pollination, which is pollination by water. The pollination by water occurs only in aquatic plants, means those plants which are grown only in water, like Hydrilla and Valsinaria. The flower release their pollens directly into the water, and the pollens drifts into the water or in the surface of the water, and when the pollens comes in contact with the large feathery stigma of female flower, pollination takes place. I am again repeating for you. First of all, the pollination by water takes place only within aquatic plants, means those plants which are grown in water, and when the flower release their pollens directly into the water, the pollens, when they comes, the pollens drifts in the water, means they swim on the surface of the water, and when they come in contact with the large feathery stigma of female flowers, pollination takes place. This is the first point, but the second point is that not all the flowers or aquatic flowers or plants are pollinated by water, because the lotus bearing flower, here in lotus bearing flower, the pollination takes place with the help of wind or insects. So now let us concentrate on flowers which are pollinated by water. What are the characteristics? The characteristics are, they are very light in weight, so that they can float easily on the surface of the water, and then they do not produce nectar. The flowers do not produce nectar. The flowers produce large pollen grains in large quantities, and male and female flowers are found in separate plants, means they are unisexual, because the male and female flowers are found in separate plants. Again, I am repeating for you the characteristics of flowers which are pollinated by water. First of all, they are very light in weight, so that they can float easily on the surface of the water. Second, these flowers, they do not produce nectar, and rather than they produce pollen grains in large quantities. And male and female flowers are found in separate plants. So now let us discuss about the another agent of pollination, which is pollination by animals. Here what happens, animals like birds, squirrel and bat also acts as a pollinating agents. They suck nectar from the flowers of plants like cotton tree. They transfer this nectar they transfer to another flower when they come in contact with it. Means when they sit on that flower, that different flower, they transfer this nectar from that to another flower. Okay. Again, I am repeating for you the whole process. What happens here? Animals like birds, squirrel and bats, they also act as a pollinating agent. How they do this process? They suck the nectar from the flowers of plants like cotton tree, and then they transfer this nectar to another flower when they come in contact with that another flower. Now we have completed the natural method of pollination. So now let us start the another method, which is artificial pollination. Which is known as hybridization. How will we pronounce? Hybridization. Here what happens? Some plants are pollinated artificially to develop new variety of crop, not different flowers or plants. Here why hybridization is done? Because to get the new variety of crop which have the characteristics of two different plants. Okay. Here, two different varieties of crops are selected with desired characteristics. Means the characteristics which are required, these two plants or these two crops, I should say, are selected. Then example can be of, one can be of disease resistant crop, second can be of the high yielding crop. After that, what happens? They are the cross breeding is done by artificial pollination. What is happening after that? Cross breeding is done by artificial pollination, and this process, this whole process is called as hybridization. And the new variety of plant which is formed is known as hybrid. Example can be of wheat, rice and maize. Again, I am repeating for you the whole process. What happens? Some plants are pollinated artificially. Okay, why? Because to develop a new variety of crop with which have the characteristics of two different plants. Here, two different varieties of crops are selected with desired characteristics. Example can be, one can be of disease resistance, second can be of high yielding crop. Then crossbreeding is done by artificial pollination. The total process is known as hybridization. And the new variety of plant which is formed is known as hybrid. Okay, example of these type of artificial pollination of plants are known as example can be of wheat, rice and maize. As of now, we have already discussed about the process of hybridization. Okay, now what is hybridization? Hybridization is the process where we get the crop of desired characteristics from the two different crops. Okay, and the new form of variety of crop which we get, that is called as hybrid. Now let us discuss another form of pollination, which is fertilization. Okay, here what happens in fertilization? When pollen grains land on stigma, these are, as you can see in this diagram, these are the pollen grains. When they land on the stigma, they form a long tube which is called pollen tube. This long tube is called pollen tubes. Okay. Now after that, pollen tubes penetrate through style. Pollen tubes, after that, pollen tubes, where they go? Pollen tubes goes through style and reaches ovules inside the ovary, which are ovules. Where ovules are found? They are found inside the ovary. Okay. And after that, what happens? Pollen tubes burst inside the ovule and release male gametes. What happened? Pollen tubes burst inside the ovule, here in this ovule, and then they form male gametes. These are the male gametes. Okay. And male and female gametes to form zygote. Okay. Male and female gametes. This is the male and female gametes to form zygote, and zygote divides to form an embryo. Okay, this egg cell is the female gamete. Okay, and then after that, what happens? When male and female gametes they fuse together, they form zygote, and then zygote divides to form an embryo. Okay, and ovules form seed. Seed develops from where? From ovules. Okay, and ovary develops into fruit. This is the total process of fertilization. The process of fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization. As we have already discussed the process of fertilization, now let me tell you in detail the formation of fruit and seed. What happens? The sepals, petals, stamens, stigma and styles and other part of flower dries off after fertilization. Zygote divides and grows into embryo. Zygote divides and grows into embryo, and ovule changes into seed, and its wall develops or form the seed coat to protect the seed from the outer environment. Ovary develops into fruit. So fruit is the ripened ovary, because ovary is the main source which develop the fruit, and seed is the ripened ovule which grows into a new plant. Again, I am telling you the whole process of formation of fruit and seed for you. What happens? Main parts of flower like sepals, petals, stamen, stigma, style, and other parts of flowers dries off after fertilization, and zygote divides and grows into embryo. Ovule changes into seed, and it forms the seed coat to protect the seed from the outer environment, and ovary develops into fruit. So ovary is the ripened fruit is the ripened ovary, and seed is the ripened ovule which grows as a new plant. So kindly note down your homework for today.